a relationship and one is the stud and has the penis, why not just date a man? Or if you're two gay men and one is feminine, why not just date a woman? So those questions come from Vanessa in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Anybody in the chat room, feel free to weigh in. Honorable Deacon, do you have an opinion or thought on the matter?
Uh,
Tiffany says that she agrees with the question.
um, no, that's different. Hmm. I guess they still need a duality, because someone has to be more of the alpha in that situation, take charge type person, more dominant, and one has to play the more submissive role. That
Hmm.
would be my guess. But as far as them wanting to be the opposite sex, they might be too used to the same old, basically. I don't know.
Yes. Now, the other thing about that too, my thoughts on that, and I know I'm not fully qualified to answer this question, but my thoughts on it is that they may want someone who is okay, if you're a lesbian, so they may still want someone who is well, fuck it, I don't know. I ain't finna get in trouble and think that I know. Okay. Tiffany says because it's like having a man and a woman all in one. Okay, that's what Tiffany says. No, Tiffany Palmer says that. We got two Tiffany's, ladies. I'm sorry. Tiffany Palmer says because it's like having a man and a woman all in one. Tiffany Chan says if I were a lesbian, I would date somebody that looks beautiful. If I wanted a woman that looked like a dude, I'd just be with a dude. You know, I agree with you, and I think the Honorable Deacon does too. So we'll get that. We'll hopefully we'll get somebody before the end of the night that can give us that perspective and answer that question for us. And this is one for you, Honorable Deacon, directly to you from Danny, of course, the future love of your life. Danny asks of the Honorable Deacon, what's the hardest part of dating you?
Apparently she's never heard me say that I'm too spoiled. Not necessarily that I get my own way all the time, um,
You're fading in and out, Honorable
but
Deacon. Fading in and out.
not that I get my own way all the time, but it's just the fact that there are certain things that I deserve and desire. I'm not going to say it's sex drive, but that may be an issue for some people. Um,
The fact that you're spoiled.
in a lot of different ways. I mean, you already know that
Hmm.
I'm extremely spoiled. It's like I usually get what I want, basically. Uh,
Hmm.
in
Now, what if you
every
don't get
facet.
your way in a relationship? And how
Mm,
patient are you for someone to comply?
that's the end of the relationship and shit. Um, I don't know. I think that I am patient to the uttermost. Um,
Do you think that in a relationship that you are obligated to do everything that your significant other wants you to do?
say that again.
If you're in a relationship, do you think that you are obligated to do everything that your significant other wants you to do?
Um, no, I'm not obligated to do shit.
Is she obligated to do
I,
everything you want her to do?
you damn right. That's the way it's supposed to be. No, but the reality of it is, a person that only does whatever the fuck they want to do. They have a mind of their own. They're an individual, but we have to click on certain levels in order to be at that juncture.
Yeah,
So
it's like opportunity cost. You have to decide what you're willing to do, and then if you say no to something, then and that's what I just said, Ronnie. Willing. Yeah, you have to decide what you're willing to do, and then if there's a consequence for not doing something, you have to be prepared to live with it, and that could be the end of your relationship, as the honorable deacon said. Or that person you're with could bounce.
yeah.
Tiffany Chan says, "Shit, in the world that we're living in, there's no more dating. It's all about sex and shacking up." Honorable Deacon, do you
Well, you
think
don't
that?
really hear me arguing about that. But go ahead.
What you say you're not going to argue about it?
I said you won't hear me arguing about that part of it.
Do you think that you know? So there's no art in dating anymore, or people just don't want to date?
I'm still kind of at a point where I really don't want to date, because I've seen like some of the younger girls, ladies, women are extremely strange. I don't
Strange in what
know if
way,
they
Honorable
just get
Deacon?
it from. I don't know if they get it from their culture nowadays. Yeah, even just the dancing. When people went out to dance when we were a little bit younger, it was actually a dance. You actually dance. They're having like seizures on the floor now. And they don't just get high now. They get super high. Strange shit. Um, it's just the whole flow is just so different.
So
It,
does that
it,
make you want to withdraw from society? Do you
withdraw
sit?
from certain areas of society as far as like the clubs. If I know a certain club is a certain way and certain age people are going to be there, I don't go.
Mhm.
You know, I just avoid all that bullshit. And those are usually the clubs that wind up being shot 30, 40 times in a night or a bunch of fights and things of that nature. You know,
Do you think that
and
as a
never when I got this old, I would think that when we're younger and the elder guys would be like, "What the fuck are you doing on the dance floor?" I've never thought that I would be that type of person, but now I see the shit for myself, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" You know?
yeah? So do you think that it is your duty or you have somewhat of an obligation as an elder to um, give guidance to the young ones?
The ones that will listen if I conversated with them,
Hmm.
and that's very few and far between. I
Okay.
try to avoid all these young whippersnappers, these little young thundercats. I avoid all that bullshit. But you have to realize these young kids nowadays will shoot your grandmama. You know what I mean? So shooting you is no problem.
Honorable Deacon, you're no longer sounding like the old man in the club. It's like you've bypassed that stage. You sound like the old man at the house on the porch talking
Uh,
about.
with my legs crossed, with my legs crossed, sipping lemonade. I guess so. I mean, but you have to look at it from my point of view, where you understand that I've done the club thing for years at a time, done the bar thing for years at a time, house parties, all types of strange parties, the whole gambit. So
Uh-huh.
that doesn't really interest me as much anymore. I find, hopefully I will find a person that I'm really attracted to outside of that area.
Hmm.
So I don't really want to worry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be truthfully honest, I think I might have dated people from the bar that I've been to maybe a handful of times, maybe. Out of the multitude of times that I've been dating, you know.
Okay. So what are you going to do? What's the solution? Do you think that you can find that special one in what about the certain age groups? Because there's strange ones in the older age groups. There's strange ones amongst our age. The drugs that are getting people super high, as you said earlier, everybody's trying that shit.
And killing it, blowing their fucking hearts up. You're right. You're absolutely right. Um, it's not necessarily an age limit, though. It's just a person that I have that I click with, have good vibrations with. If you know, you can see it from a mile away if that
Hmm.
person is right for you.
Tiffany Chan says people can't trust each other anymore, nor do they have each other's backs.
Now that is true.
Hmm.
They get grimy nowadays, man.
So have you ever? Okay, this question I'll tell you who it comes from afterwards. But the question is, have you ever had a woman cry while sucking your dick? And that sounds like
Flashback.
a
Go ahead.
yes. That sounds like a yes.
Finish your statement, though. It is a yes, but
And then and then the follow up to that, the second part of that is, what was your reaction?
well, the times that this happened, I let her continue. It
Continue to
was
cry,
crying
continue sucking
during.
your dick.
uh, I let her continue doing both. That was something that they had to get over. You know, in certain situations, they knew it was the last time that I was going to be with them.
Wait. How did she know that? What
You
tell me
can
the
tell, man.
circumstances.
You can. I mean, she could tell. You know, they could really tell
Was it because
because you're doing the frowning and you're trying to look up, turn the other way, and you're almost at the point where you're asking them are they done yet because it's done this piss poor job or something like that. You know.
so you're saying that she wasn't doing a good job and she might have been crying because of that. And she
So
knew that she
yeah,
wasn't going to get an opportunity. She was letting the honorable deacon down.
yeah.
Oh
And a couple circumstances. It was just that I these fuck chicks, and during the intermission, they were already crying from sex, and then oral sex started and continued crying basically.
why were they crying? Emotional or pain or what?
I Probably a little bit of both. I would say a little bit of both. You know,
Tiffany says that
also
social. Go ahead. Go ahead.
also the freak show commenced. So you know.
Hmm. Tiffany Chan says social media is the devil. It's ruining relationships. Folks that have been married for 20 plus years getting divorced because of all these temptations. As you get older, you need your partner that can be there for you, like wiping your ass, taking you to the doctor, bathing you, and putting your clothes on and feeding you. Well, you know, Tiffany, my wife has done all that shit in the last 24 hours. She didn't wipe my ass yet, but you know. All right. So, Honorable Deacon, do you agree with Tiffany that social media is ruining relationships? Or, first of all, that social media is the devil?
On certain levels, I would say it really will fuck with you, especially if you're out there fucking around anyway. You know, but I could easily just link a video of you hugging, fucking somebody else and send it to your significant other.
Yeah.
If you're single, who gives a fuck? You know,